Hey there, Goa fans. This is Mark DJ Solitaire here with episode 161 of Retro Goa Explorations, my weekly series in which I present in each episode one of my favorite tracks from the 1990s Goa Trance psychedelic dance movement. This is only the second time that I'm featuring this artist in one of their solo works. A little surprising because he's definitely still one of the major artists. Uh, a lot of collaborations in the 90s, although what I featured previously was a solo track, his first, I believe, perhaps one of the first that he released in any case. And I'm not sure if I've done any of the collaborations. I'm going to have to go back at some point because there are just too many great tracks that I haven't done. And things started changing right around 2000 in terms of the vibe of the music, and we all love the stuff from the 90s, so I'll be revisiting some of these. But this one I really want to feature. It was really on the cusp of the millennium. Some sources say online that it was released in 2000, others in 99. I checked with Twisted headquarters. It was 99, at least if I recall the communications correctly. And I remember, I mean, I got the promo because that's often the case with Twisted. So I don't actually have a cover of the thing, but it came originally in a plastic sleeve, and this is Tristan's debut album, Audiodrome. Uh, Now, just around the time that this came out, just before, uh, Tristan played after Ollie at Ozora. Sorry, it wasn't really Ozora, right? It was the first Solips. It was the first, what basically became the first unofficial Ozora on the same land. And I missed that set. I had been sick prior, needed to get better for Ollie because, Ollie was, my idol, having been my gateway DJ. And so I, you know, was there for that 4 hour set, and then I took off for the rest of the day or for a chunk of the day. So I missed Tristan's set. And I can tell you that after that event, everybody was talking about Tristan's set as the highlight of the festival. It was, I just heard it left and right. Everybody was talking about it. And I'm sure he was playing some of this stuff. Now, he doesn't DJ anymore. He plays all of his own music. But back then, he was a DJ and he was phenomenal. And we can hear him as a composer, and he was phenomenal. Very interesting stuff back in the 90s with a lot of variety. And this album was unconventional. And certainly at this stage, it was unconventional because it's not one style. And there's shifts in BPM all the way throughout. Some of them really fast. The one we're listening today is at 148, and then other ones that are, slower and groovier. And so, it is a different kind of concept, and I think very welcome, and certainly extremely psychedelic in a really unique way. One of the things that I particularly like about the track that we're going to be listening to today, the opening track, Fetish, is the really otherworldly nature to it. I mean, it is just alien sounds, computerized sounds left and right. And you start putting things together. Your brain starts putting things together as voices and communications. And this was really my first impression when I heard Ollie for the first time in '94 at the first event that I went to. Several impressions, but one of them was, wow, this is what it's like to be in a computer, or this is what it's like to be in outer space. And so I'm not sure how much abstract music Ollie was playing at the time, or how much was just, this was my impression because it was all so new. But this sound, the sound of this track is really that kind of alien language, voices from other dimensions, sounds of being inside a computer, being inside your own processing system. And I just love it. So, one of the things also about this track, very uplifting. But it's not like a toxic positivity woohoo kind of, not that there's anything wrong with woohoo on its own, but it's really integrated in terms of, I think, the mood. The way the uplifting also has a deeper and more probing quality to it because of that otherworldly nature, and also some of the harmonic elements. So, how about we give this a listen? I think it's absolutely incredible. I think the storyline, the structure, the all of the content is absolutely brilliant, and it's long been a favorite of mine, and especially from a period where I was beginning to see and hear a real shift from what I considered to be, some of the central messaging of this musical movement. So let's listen now to Tristan's Fetish. Okay, so this very strong rhythm, accent on the first and third beat of a 4-beat bar. 1, 3, 1, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Really powerful. Just some very nicely placed voices in the background while this bass line sets the tone. I mean, totally like alien voices. And it goes from, having a bit of reverb, a bit of echo to being quite dry, and the placement shifting location as well. So it's like all these other voices in the background, and then there's that, but then this primary messenger. I mean, other dimensional. And, just treat each one as a voice. And this is what I loved about the music back then, the way it was inflected matches, mimics some of the inflection that we have in speech. Creative use of the drums there. Then this extra bass line here. Long build up, super exciting. Just really whip up the tension on the dance floor. There's great upper register voice there. Drum build up. Just completely lifting. And then when's it gonna break? Goosebumps. I mean, just blows the lid off after such a big build-up. That is the kind of build-up that I think is really lacking nowadays. Just incredible. And that's the opening. And I haven't used the word celebratory in a while, but that is some of the vibe we've got going on here, right? Right, so then that all falls away and we just have this beautiful bass line, very clear texture, really nice resonance. Just love the way it's further in the background now. And reverberant. Love this little ping pong sound going on. And again, notice how it's more forward and drier over there. Very cool percussion there. Really playful, right? That up and down movement. And this sort of quixotic tone. Wow. really like, again, this interplay between these two beings, it seems. A little bit more momentum here. I mean, it just seems like chaos, but it's really organized chaos. It's just fantastic. Feeling momentum. Variety of sounds as well, those shimmering, echoing kind of. There it is again. There it is. Brilliant. Wow. And again, you just get into this hypnotic loop with all this messaging, and now things start changing, getting a little bit more wild, and then this build up. The shaping here is incredible. Again, the momentum. I mean, it's just non-stop. You know, this forward through this cyber tunnel, and again, this kick build-up. Oh, not yet. Here we go. Keeps you on edge. And again, love the quirky harmonies over here, which is characteristic of his music at the time, especially his collaborations with Process. How many different layers and voices. Again, a little bit of a steel drum kind of, a sort of intergalactic Jamaican carnival drums. And again, every single voice here sounds like a voice. Just the repetition of the pattern, and again the shaping, it's really speech-like. Now we're getting that accenting with this circular riff. And again, very cool, slightly groovy hi-hat-ish kind of sounds up there. Now we're back to that chimey kind of thing, and then starting to unwind. There's the accenting again. Then there's a real rhythm shift with this closer here. I mean, come on. That is just a whole other kind of music, which, you know, I think is something that we all experienced and thought the first time we entered this scene and at many events, right, where we're having our minds blown by completely different kinds of, musical languaging, different kinds of sounds and storylines and so on. That is just absolute genius. Um, it's long been one of my favorites. I have two favorite tracks on this album in particular that I've always gone back to, and the other one I'm sure we'll do at some point. But the whole thing is really worth listening to, again, for a different kind of journey. And, I think a peak in the development of this kind of otherworldly language that's abstract, I would say, for lack of a better term, right? Where it's not melodic. You have pitch and you have a sound and, the sound design and the sculpting of each voice, each line really starts to mimic speech, but sounds completely otherworldly. So it really sounds like a voice. It's not something singable, really. It's just, it's listenable and danceable. And I think that's part of the boundary breaking element of it. One of the things, of course, that's so wonderful about some of the music in our scene is how singable it actually is. The fact that it's really listenable and really beautiful. And we also, there's this full range of musical styles in our movement. And this is a really important one because it adds that other dimensional, otherworldly, extraterrestrial kind of, shifting the framework of what music is and how sound works. Again, I'm coming from a classical background. And so, when people playing piano's my instrument, you're playing piano, you're playing violin, playing flute, you have notes. There's a very clear, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and then back to A and all the semitones, right? So seven primary tones. And this has the pitch of those, but not as overtly hitting the note. And so just the relativity of the sound and shifting away from that, it upends uh, hundreds of years of music where it was always something singable and it was always an actual note that was being played. So absolutely love this track. Tristan really at his best. Absolute masterpiece. And I'll let you listen in more detail. I've been listening to this more the last couple of days leading up to this episode. And, plug yourself in and listen to the details, in terms of how the voices are placed, how the effects are, and to really catch the complexity of what's going on. It's an absolute masterpiece. All right. So I will sign off now. I am Mark, DJ Solitaire, wrapping up episode 161 of Retro Goa Explorations and leaving you now with the opening track of Tristan's album on Twisted Audiodrome, Fetish.